Welcome to Motor Spins. I'm your host, Joe Lombardi, and today we have a very luxurious car, a 2019 Jaguar XJ, the R Sport. The Jaguar XJ name goes all the way back to 1968, and it sort of got some transformations along the years. It became a coupe, then they said never mind, and they went back to a sedan. This is one of the longest cars I think I actually have driven. That is outside of a limousine spec, I guess. This is the first car that brought Jaguar to this generation with this styling from Ian Callum, the legendary English car designer. Back in 2009, this was unveiled actually by Jay Leno, and it was introduced for the 2010 model year. The Jaguar XJ sticks out quite a bit with its competitors. The XJ competes directly with Mercedes S-Classes, BMW 7 Series. I think the Mercedes S-Class outsold this car about 6-1 throughout its years in production, that's sad. The big upgrade to the mid-cycle refresh is right here. These are the full LED headlights. Now, these are a dual LED system as well as these LED running lights. These are your daytime running lights, and they also transform into your turn signal. And if you look at the grille, this is the classic Jaguar grille. It's big, it has the big badge in the front. You also have a lower grille right here, again, just taking more air in. It's a big engine, but it's not the biggest engine you can get on this car. You can get a supercharged V8, actually the same V8 that goes in the F-Type, and it's pretty ridiculous, honestly. So designer Ian Callum worked a lot on making sure that this car has a very beautiful sweeping design, because Jaguars are known for their beauty and elegance, and that's really what this car exudes. If you look at the front here, these lines are so direct. I mean, you have a power bump in the middle, and then it kind of comes down into this corner here. Jaguars are performance cars, but they're also luxury cars. So it's interesting that this really does both better than any of them, at least in my opinion. Another thing that's really beautiful is this paint. This exterior paint is called Noir Metallic Blue, and it is gorgeous. It's a moderately priced option, around $550, but you can see it has quite a lot of layers in there. I think it looks really nice. I think the car does its best when it's understated. So we have 19-inch wheels here. We have 245s in the front and about 275s in the back. It is staggered, so you will get some good grip if you're taking this around corners, but the car's purpose is luxury, although Jaguar won't let you leave the door without something that can at least handle itself on a curvy road. So coming along to the side, we have the typical traditional Jaguar side vent. This is not functional at all, but it is stylish and it looks cool. It's a nice chrome, says Jaguar right here. And also this badge right here says R Sport. So the R Sport badge is a little confusing. It's more like an accessories package, more or less. It's just giving you some different trim rather than actually upgrading the engine. So these kind of cars are primarily meant for the rear occupants because it's definitely giving you a ton of space back here. There's plenty of trunk space as well. You get this beautiful flowing line that kind of comes back to this rear quarter panel, and you get these taillights that start here and come down here. Jaguar calls these the cat claws, which I think is kind of funny. Rawr. Because it does kind of look like you're getting scratched by a cat. Whether that's a good thing or bad thing, does appear to be that. So the back end of a Jaguar XJ could be slightly controversial because these taillights are sort of a love-hate relationship with most people. I personally think they're beautiful, but a lot of people kind of think they look sort of weird. They just kind of fall down, sort of like a teardrop. Obviously, you see the badge that says XJ. Now, there is a long wheelbase model that is available. It stretches it a bit more and gives the rear occupants much more space, but doesn't really change the power plant. This badge right here, the 3.0, that signifies the power of the engine, or at least the size of the engine. This is the 3-liter V6, and it's supercharged. Honestly, the back end I personally think is gorgeous. It's a little understated, a little unique. I think it's elegant. Coming down here, we also have dual outlet exhaust, and these are real exhausts, and Jaguar doesn't really skimp on that. They think their customers who go for a luxurious car also want to hear the engine a little bit, and that's here. It's not really that isolated. You also see we have some parking sensors as well as that rear camera right there. All right, jumping under the hood, we see a familiar engine that's in a lot of Jaguar as well as Land Rover, Range Rover products. This produces around 340 horsepower, around 332 foot-pounds of torque. It's plenty of power for this 3,800-pound car, and it gets you around a 5.2 0 to 60 time, and government limited to 155 miles an hour, but that's fine. You're not really going to be driving this thing for performance. They do offer a supercharged V8, which gets you around 475 horsepower, and of course you have the R version of it, which gets you 575 horsepower. So you have options, but honestly I think this is the spec I would choose because, again, plenty of power for what I need it for. I'm gonna probably spend my time cruising around moderate speeds. With the rear wheel drive, you're gonna get probably enough traction, and you also save a little bit of weight, which is nice. Also, the engine itself is connected to a 8-speed ZF automatic transmission, which is pretty common among most Jaguar products. It's a great transmission. It's plenty fast up and down, and it gets you some decent fuel economy for what this is. You're looking at around 17, 25 mpg, around 22 average, which is pretty much okay, especially because there's no hybrid train in here. It's just a supercharger. And we all know what superchargers does to gas. It eats it away. Come along to the inside where the real magic happens. So, the interior is, in one word, gorgeous. It is absolutely stunning, actually. There is a lot of handwork craftsmanship in here. There's leather everywhere, and this beautiful mahogany wood trim, and it's real too. That's what's kind of wild about it. Our interior trim is known as truffle cashew, which I think is kind of cool. It's a duotone. It's kind of a light tan and a darker brown color on the upper dash, as well as the steering wheel being a brown color. I think this color suits the interior very well. It has kind of an old school meets new school feel. Okay, sitting in the XJ R Sport, I mean, how can you not like this or even love it? I mean, there's opulence everywhere. Like, this is beautiful hand-stitched leather surrounding the door, the actual armrests on the door here, the center console surrounded by real chrome again. Parking lever here is in real chrome, as well as our gear selector. And then we have this piano black material in the center, our large 12-inch touchscreen, which is the newer Jaguar Land Rover Connect system. And above that, we see this analog clock, which has the XJ logo in the center. And we just have these beautiful sort of leather surrounding air vents. Everything kind of looks like an air turbine. When I'm looking at some of these features, I mean, I'm kind of surprised that this doesn't cost above $100,000, because really this is very nice and it looks handcrafted. Also, fun fact, the XJ is a car that's inside the British royal family to transport them, as well as armored versions to transport 2 different prime ministers of Britain, which is, I mean, I'd feel safe in here. Feel safe in here without the armor. Another bit of design language that Ian Callum introduced with this Jaguar, as well as the XF, as well as the XE, which is the smaller version of this car, is this sort of sweeping surrounding wood trim that follows from the door all the way around to the middle and to the right. Now, he meant this to be more like a yacht. He said he took inspiration from sailing yachts, so it kind of has that feeling to it. Again, especially with this wood trim. Now, this is not standard, this is optional. So when you look and follow this pattern all the way to the front, you see the nice little Jaguar badge right there, just to remember what you're driving, as if it wasn't obvious enough. We have seats that have not only heating, cooling, and massaging, which is lovely. We have a backup camera that comes up if you press this button here, so you can look behind you. There is a 360 camera option. This car does not have it. The back seats obviously are the main draw to the car, because, I mean, they're so comfortable and you have plenty of leg room, even without the long wheelbase. So in the center here, we have a digital dash. So if you press this button, you can actually change what this actually sees. You can change it to technical, which looks like that, graphical, which looks like this, and of course, minimal, which looks like that. So this is the Jaguar Range Rover rotating knob transmission. There's not really a traditional name for it. If you push it down and to the right, you'll go into a sport mode. You can also put this car into a dynamic mode by putting this button right here. It'll just change the throttle input and give you more power, which is nice. This car does have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Also, moving on to the glove box here, we have a button release, which is nice. So, driving impressions, I can just tell you are gonna be good. Like, this is a very isolated cabin. I just wanna cruise, you know? Just want to put my arm up here and just let the worries of the world fade away as I waft into wherever my destination is. We're going to try a small pull just to see where this throttle input is, because it is a supercharger, so that means you get instant response from the engine. It's actually pretty fast. So I didn't expect it to be that fast for what it is. It feels like a private jet taking off rather than a sports car. Oh, what is this? We have a massage function? Oh, that's right, because this is a very luxurious car, and that's what I'm gonna leave on for a second. The other thing you get is heated and cooled rear seats, that's actually really nice. And a lot of cars don't even offer that unless you option them way up. So having this be kind of a standard spec, it's actually pretty nice to have these features. You also have paddle shifters on the wheel. We'll try that out really quick. Downshifts are plenty fast, and upshifts are quick as well. So it's there if you really want to shift it around yourself, but again, not the point of the car. You actually have a pretty good turning radius, especially for how wide this car is. And that's thanks to the rear-wheel drive. For what it is, I think it's an extremely comfortable car that somebody who's driving it is going to be just as happy as the rear passengers who are comfortably cruising in it. You also have rear sunshades that you could put up and down with these controls up here. If you press this, you have a rear sunroof as well as a front sunroof. So you have two sunroofs. Two is better than one. I guess the last thing I will talk about is the price point here. So the Jaguar XJ R Sport starts around $74,000, $75,000, which in my opinion is a great deal for what you get. But option it up to some of these things like the wood trim piece and all the technology and things like that, you're looking at around maybe $82,000, $83,000, which again, with its competitors in mind, you're looking at well above $100,000. So for sub $100,000, I don't really know many cars that can match this. This is incredible for the money. And to be honest with you, people who don't know what this is are gonna get in it and think you spent Bentley money. And let's be honest here, nobody's gonna know except you. And that's pretty sweet. So thanks for joining me on Motor Spins. We just checked out a 2019 Jaguar XJ R Sport. So be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this because there is definitely more coming. And I'm gonna get back in this because I have some unwinding to do and this is the best way I know how. So I'll catch you guys on the next one. Thanks for joining me.